Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Hello, everybody. Happy
How y'all doing
Sabbath.
this morning? I'm
Happy
sorry about that. I
Saturday.
didn't realize that was a good morning. And thank you for watching and following Be Empowered with Lamati. How
Yes.
y'all doing today?
We go. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. We welcome you guys this morning. We thank you for showing up every Saturday and showing out. For those of you who do, for those of you who watch everything after the fact, we thank you for that as well.
Thank you,
We
thank you,
want
thank
you
you.
guys to like, follow, and share. We want to make sure that the videos are getting out there, that people are able to be inspired or educated, encouraged, entertained, whatever E-words you want to use with whatever video they watch. So just follow, like, share, and get these videos out there.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, I'm Linnell. I am, I'm Linnell.
And I'm Marasha, of
Yeah,
course.
and we're being powered with Lamati. Sorry
so
about that, you guys.
So we got to go through our disclaimers. Of course, we both are associates, marriage and family therapists. We do therapy for our everyday day jobs and our profession. We believe in what we do. However, the purpose of this show is not to provide you with therapy, to tell you what to do, to be your personal therapist. It's strictly for entertainment purposes and to just have fun. It's some educational stuff over here that we like to do and talk about. Anything else, Anil? If you are in crisis,
Yes, go ahead. You can do that.
if you are in crisis, you should locate the nearest provider. Check with your insurance so they can refer you out to somebody. You can always call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255 or text the crisis text line at 741-741. Or if you are in Kern County, you can also do the Kern County crisis hotline at 1-800-991-5272. Always remember, in Kern County area or LA area, anywhere California, 211 for all resources through your phone. Hit 211. For the LGBTQ plus text line, if this is a group that you belong to, please text 678-678 or Trevor text in Trevor Space social media platform. Hi, Miss Trina. How are you, girl?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Queen. How are you doing? So, yes, just like Marasha said, if you guys are struggling with any mental health issues, we will put those phone numbers up again at the end of the video. But we want to make sure that you guys are educated and you know where you can go if you're struggling with anything. One thing that I did want to add, I know Marasha did our housekeeping rules, but we always want to say that this is just from our perspective. Obviously, we are Black women, so it's going to be from a Black woman's perspective. We're not saying that it is all Black women's perspective, but we're saying that it is from a couple of different angles that you may potentially see from a Black woman. And hopefully you're not offended by anything that we say, because we are and we do like to keep it real on this show. So we apologize in advance if there is anything that we say that is offensive, but once again, we're not intending to offend anyone.
You're right. So with that being said, let's just be honest. It was difficult to find a topic because we covered a lot of stuff so far. That's why it's important that you guys let us know what you would like to cover and what you would like to talk about. But today, we want to talk about some current events.
Yes, we're going to talk about a little bit of everything, what's going on in the media, what's going on in our lives, things that maybe our colleagues or peers or family members have said that they've been struggling with during the week. So we're just going to start it off. I know from me, because I know Marasha sent me some stuff that she want to bring to the table. But the first thing that I want to do today is my great-grandmother's 101st birthday. So I want to give her a birthday shout out. Definitely. I want to make sure that I, salute my grandma Jackson. Happy birthday. Happy 101st birthday. That is a huge milestone. So I definitely want to say happy birthday to her. Hello, Angel. Okay, good morning.
That's the Vicky. That's the cookies. Y'all want the cookies?
Oh, okay.
That's who you get up for the cookies.
All right, we got you. And thank you. So I wanted to say happy birthday to her. I wanted to say rest in heaven to Biz Markie. He passed away yesterday, and since I am older, he was from my age, I was over there singing, you say he's just a friend. Wondering if he's just a friend. So I wanted to say, rest in heaven, Biz Markie. You know, I want to give a shout out to him as well. Good morning, Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany. How you doing?
Thank you. So that was just a couple of things I wanted to start off with first. But we haven't been able to really talk about current events like Marasha said. So I want to bring up what's been going on in the media as far as the Olympics with Shakara, and I hope I'm saying her name correctly. But good morning, Auntie Mary and Alex.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Alex. How y'all doing this morning?
I wanted to bring up what was going on with her. Her winning and then, you know, testing positive for marijuana. I did see a lot of different perspectives on it, a lot of angry people, a lot of chastising people. And so I just kind of wanted to bring that up because one, you know, I used to run track. I love track. I love sports, period. So it's something that I always follow. And then two, just hearing her statement about why she used. I know there's not an excuse, but just being in the mental health field, you know, I could relate to the things that she was saying. And then three, I understand that when you are an athlete and you're in the public eye, that there are certain things, yes, that you should and should not be doing. And, you know, one thing that my daughter brought up is that, because I think the Olympics are in Tokyo this year, I believe. And Tokyo has a really strict policy on drug use. So I just wanted to see, you know, how you guys felt about that, what your thoughts were, because I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings. And then I seen a meme that said, okay, we judged Gabby for her hair when she won, and we couldn't just be happy for her. And now we have this young lady that has won, and we can't just be happy for her. But once again,
that's a different scenario.
Exactly, because
like
Gabby never failed a test.
To oranges or even apples to limes.
That's what I'm saying. You know, and Gabby never failed a test, and she didn't put her career in jeopardy like that. I'm not, once again, saying anything about Shakar, because her situation is different and everybody handles stress differently. But I just wanted to know what you guys think.
I'll say my perspective on it. And it's kind of okay. So I'm just gonna say, when I first heard about this story and I was following it, I thought it was interesting because mental health is real, and some people, they do use marijuana to cope. Because I mean, doctors will tell you sometimes if you want to calm down, de-stress from pain, you smoke a little bit, eat a little edible, you'll be all right. I get that. I completely understand that. We don't know what she was going through, what was on her plate. On the other hand, knowing that you get ready for this Olympics and you know you going, we know the rules there in fine print. And we know that being women of color, sometimes we are cut no slack.
Yes.
And so with knowing that, I can never put myself in somebody's shoes, but I would have thought about that. Okay, well, if I want to smoke, I can smoke after I get this. I'm doing this for the people. I'm doing this for myself, number one. Number two, for my mother. I'm going to get this. I'm going to win. And then I'm going to smoke it all the way up. That's going to be the case. I would have stopped for a little bit, just a little bit, a couple of months to get clean.
I feel like she has stopped. You know what I'm saying?
And then something happened that might have triggered it.
Well, not only that, you know, obviously she's been in the Olympics. You need to have your lungs right. You need to make sure you're practicing. So in my opinion, I mean, well, let me not say my opinion because I don't know this young lady.
Sorry, AJ.
But I'm pretty sure that she had not smoked that entire time from what I've seen.
Yes.
And she felt like, okay, I won and I have this break. And so I'm now going to smoke because I haven't been smoking. So it shouldn't stay in my system as long because I'm not really smoking. And it was a celebration smoke per se. And, you know, to kind of like, you know, remember her mother or, you know, whatever was going on. And I believe that maybe it would have been, it was that, excuse me, perspective. And so I don't think she necessarily was using the entire time.
And so that's my point. But had not knowing you can be randomly drug tested or however it was done,
Yeah.
I would have just waited until I won the whole thing and then
I hear you. But what my point is, and I'm sorry, that's why I said, because I got sidetracked. My entire point of saying that is she's younger. And this young lady is still a baby, in my opinion. And I say that because once again, I am older. I'm twice her age. So with that being said, the things that I know now, I didn't know then. And so if she didn't have the right supports, and I'm not saying family is not always the right support, but when I'm talking about that right now, I'm talking about mental health support. So if she didn't have the right support, then her frame of mind may not have been, oh, I need to continue to wait until I go to Tokyo and then I'll smoke. You know what I mean? It was probably, I'm going to have this. I don't even know what the time frame is to wait, but I'm going to have this 3 months, or I'm going to have this couple of months to wait. And so let me just, release this stress right now. And then I'll start to clean my system out again a month before we go, or 2 months before we go. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's the way that children think, or people.
Well, even this, because cognitively, right, we don't really get our full brain awareness until we hit the age of 21. I know he had the belts, the age of 21, 22-ish, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not fully developed. But when you think about supports in the Black community too, which plays a huge role, is that the stigma for grief counseling, because a lot of people don't go to grief counseling. And so something I said when I first saw that is, had there been somebody around her saying it's okay to go grief counseling, because that's a huge loss. Mm-hmm. I think things might have been different for her. I would agree with that too. And I think if you had an older role model to say, okay, honey, I know you got one through this, call me and talk to me. But right now you got a lot to lose. It's on the line. You got to look at this a little differently right now. Yes. It might have been a different outcome.
I agree. And I think for me, this is why I always talk about harm reduction. I talk about being trauma informed, because this needs to translate into every avenue of your life. This is an area that definitely everybody's not going to be in the same category. Everybody's not going to deal with stress the same way. And so sometimes we're going to need to look at these things differently. Once again, I'm not saying that she should not be held accountable, but what I am saying is that these are the times when you put something into place. Okay, do you need substance abuse counseling? And the reason I say that, not saying that she needs substance abuse counseling, but this would give her the opportunity to then be like, okay, I just smoked right now. I haven't been smoking. So of course I'm gonna be clean for the rest of this time while they're testing me, and my levels are going to go down. So that still gives her an opportunity to move forward instead of just cutting off her opportunity and saying, we're going to chastise you. You're not getting another chance. And, we're going to look at you in this light instead of taking her entire situation into consideration.
Yeah, I understand that too. But also when you speak of harm reduction, some people don't get what harm reduction is.
They don't. And
that's what I had to realize, because recently there was a human trafficking training, and she came in, she gave the idea of harm reduction. Some people don't know what harm reduction is. Sometimes you might have to let a person smoke a little bit, just to get the stress off, and to keep them safe. So people would understand exactly how harm reduction is defined in her situation. So I get what you're saying. Even if she went to substance abuse counseling, they said, hey, you smoke every other week or something like that.
Right. Yes, because harm reduction starts from the top, just like Marasha said. So what she was saying is basically, if you're working with an individual and you're implementing harm reduction with that individual, whether it be, because right now a lot of people just when they hear harm reduction, they relate that to substance use, and it's not the only thing.
It's not just substance use.
But when we're thinking about substance use, if that individual is smoking marijuana, and let's say their levels are in the thousands, harm reduction would be saying, okay, within 2 weeks, I want your levels to be in the hundreds. I want it to be at 900. Or, in a month, I want your levels to be at 500 or 400 or whatever the case may be, and that's harm reduction. It's teaching that individual how to do whatever they're doing safely. And then until they get to the point where they don't want to do it at all. So once again, if they're indulging in, risky behaviors, whether it be sexual, whether it be gambling, whether it's anything. And I see we have something from Auntie Mary.
Okay, so let me tell you, we both tried to put this up because this is a different perspective on it, and I'm glad Mary wrote this because she put a spin on there. According to Olympic rules, she knew better. So did the people around her. There are family members. Now, what she about to say is true. Friends and others that are jealous enough to talk you into doing something that you know are wrong, but they catch one when they are at their weakest.
Right.
So that is true.
Yeah, that's something that we know that, and that's why the first thing that we said is an individual has to have that support system. If the individual does not have that support system, and when we say that, it's not just, and we talked about this last week, a support system is not just your family. It's not just the people that you grew up with that you're considering your friend. A support system is healthy people, healthy supports that you have met along the way that have your best interests at hand. And so,
but what she said
looks like, and if you don't know what that looks like, then your support system is not going to be.
And absolutely, and then being her age, her judgment might possibly be clouded because losing a mom is depending on that relationship is very traumatic. I think that's a loss that I would never get over. And so what you're saying is she's surrounded by people who don't want to see her thrive, and sometimes we can't even recognize those people in our own circle. She's probably having a hard time identifying who's for her and who's not.
Right.
So
Terrell said nowadays not a lot of people who want to get the assistance they really need because they think they know every damn thing, old and young people. We should have an open mind to continue to learn things that are good or bad. And that's definitely true.
That's true.
And a lot of people say that they're willing to learn and they're not really willing to learn, which once again brings me to this and brings me to old rules and brings me to I'm someone that is for today. I'm someone that is for change. I know that we have had rules our entire life, but I don't believe that those rules are always true, and they aren't always rules that are beneficial to people of color. So in my opinion, that's why I feel that a lot of the time certain things need to be taken into consideration. Yes, we do know the guidelines. Yes, we do know the rules. But once again, if the Olympics starts and she's not going into Tokyo dirty, then in my opinion, I'm like, okay, well, let her back in. Because once again, we don't know her struggle.
You already know the odds. This is from Alice. You already know the odds are somewhat against you. And you know a lot of young people and older people are looking at and up to you when you get this when you get this far in your life. You have to consider not just yourself, but the people who support you.
And that makes sense. But once again, for me, I go back to age. It sounds good. You know what I mean? And at this age, yes, we're preaching it because we know better. That's why we're doing better. But when I was 19, when I was 20, I did not know better. And I did not have people that were guiding me. So I had to make mistakes. And that's how I was able to learn. So, unfortunately, that's just where she is at this moment.
I'm going to go back to what Terrell said. What Terrell's comment, I want to go back here real quick because we briefly bounced over it. But something that he said makes sense. A lot of people, they don't want to get the assistance they really need because we think we know everything. I wonder if there was somebody around her was telling her, hey, do something differently. She just didn't listen. So there could be, how do you say it? Multiple sides to the view that we see with her is smoking. We don't know for a fact. There could have been somebody around her who was telling her, hey, you shouldn't do that. Just wait a little bit, hold it off or whatever. But sometimes we do get, I know I work with younger population. It's difficult to tell them something. It is very difficult. It's like, I always say we're planting seeds in them, but a lot of people, they are stuck in their own ways and they can be stubborn. At 20, yeah, you can still be molded a little bit, but I can see maybe from this standpoint of it too, Terrell's, is that somebody probably trying to talk to her and sometimes thinking, okay, well, I'm here, I've done it, I've got this far, I don't need any help. Is she one of those people who could be, stubborn? I just don't want to listen. I know everything. I'm not teachable. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah. It's and I don't know,
look at this angle, but I know from my perspective, at that age, I thought I knew everything. I'm just going to be honest. nobody could tell me nothing. I was gonna make my own decisions. You know, sometimes we get so stuck in the mode that I'm 18, I'm grown, I can do what I want to and how I want to do it. And that's not necessarily true. We need that additional support. So, as you know, we can say she can have the right support system for all we know, and maybe she just don't want to take any advice.
Well, that's true. But what I meant by that is just period, because a lot of the comments are saying, you know, she knew better. She knew the rules. She knew this. So that's why I was saying that. Once again, like you said, we don't know her life. We don't know her circle. We don't know. You know, so at the end of the day, I mean, yes, there are always going to be rules, but I was just saying I don't always agree with all the rules. And I feel like this is one example, or a prime example, even though we don't know her story, that alone means that we need to start looking into different angles and how to approach different situations. That was my point, because we don't know her life, and we don't know what supports that were in place, and we don't know what her way of thinking was. Absolutely. So how can we judge her and give her the same guidelines when after they went in and she did express herself or try to share what was going on or how or why she did what she did, it still wasn't received.
I felt like it was blown off as far as like her saying my mom died. It was just, I felt like when I read some of the comments that it was used as a lot of people saw it as an excuse. Now, I always have to ask this question: if the shoe had been on the other foot and your mom died, what would you be doing? And that was a question I actually asked somebody, like, what would you be doing if your mom died?
Yeah, Venetian Angel said it's just a terrible situation all the way around. Some also don't know how to ask for help, and that's very true.
That's very true.
That's very true.
Because also, fair judgment.
Yes. And also, I don't know her life. I don't know her story. I don't know her. But just coming from the same community, just being a young woman who was in a similar situation, because I read a lot of her story and a lot of our story is similar. And I was going down the same track, but I had a child, and that's the only reason I did not continue, because I did have a very strong career in track. Is that once again, in our community, marijuana is something that is valued. Marijuana is something that's not viewed as a drug. Marijuana is something that is a go-to. So a lot of the time, and I'm not saying for everyone, once again, you know, I'm not saying everybody, but it is something that, you know, sometimes people used to lean on because they don't want to go to a harder drug. So they feel like I'm just smoking weed, just like a cigarette. Cigarettes are very addicting and worse, you know, not worse. They probably the same because they kill your lungs and all that. But, you know, but a lot of people compare it to cigarettes or to just drinking a beer or whatever, because they don't feel that it is as harmful on your body, that it is something that is more helpful or a coping mechanism. But once again, I don't know her. I don't know if that's why she was doing it. But the things that I did read, I felt like potentially that was just her go-to. It was probably something that she used to do, and she stopped because she was training for the Olympics, and she was, you know, training to go to the Olympics per se. And so she had stopped for that entire time, and she probably was stressed, and she smoked, but it was probably more of a celebratory smoke, I think, and it caught up with her. That's really kind of what I think. I think she had been waiting to smoke after she was done training and doing everything, and when she could sit and take a break, and she had this test, and it snuck up on her.
Sorry, y'all, I got a crying baby. He didn't pop himself in the head, but let him be. Anyway, Michael Jackson and Prince, y'all took pills for pain. We don't know their story.
Well, we don't. And they weren't really, I mean, yeah, they were in the news, but because they had money in this, we didn't really talk about all that. It was just like, we knew they was doing that. It's okay, because they've been struggling their whole life, you know.
Terrell.
Venetian Angel said judgments. Exactly. Yes. Because a lot of people judge, especially on marijuana. So once again, that could be it as well. You know, We don't know.
Bottom line, Terrell. Hey, hi Terrell, because we know Terrell gonna bring the heat all morning. Bottom line, when you're when you're in athletic competition, the athlete already knows that any drug use or substance use is not permitted by the competition rules. Period. So
We
he's
know
sticking
that.
to his thing. These are the rules, and you stick to it. Mary Robertson, the past speaks for itself. She is not the first to be kicked off teams for drug abuse. She was not drinking as a sport figure in the public eye. I feel sorry for her. She's not the first to be tested, and she won't be the last to be tested after returning to the field.
No, she won't. She won't at all. And once again, that's because those are the rules. So, I mean, hey, there's nothing we could do about it. If we want to do something about it, all you have to do is change it. Continue to advocate for it, speak up, and you never know. So, what else going on in the community that you
Britney
guys?
Spears. Britney Spears been acting a fool lately with her parents about this conservatorship and everything else, girl.
Okay, go ahead.
So we all know Britney Spears is a real mental health patient, and that is really an illness. Some people say mental health is not a real illness, especially in minority communities, but it really is. It's a cause for concern. And so she was had conservatorship her father did over her and all her assets. So she's in the process of fighting to get everything back, right? So she just recently, the disability, I forgot who it was. They're appointing her to be able to have a new attorney to basically fight. Fight. I'm reading comments as I'm talking. To fight for her against her father. She's getting a new lawyer. Yeah, I believe Britney Spears got some issues, but we all a little crazy, some kind of way, shape, or form, facet. But did it really cost for her to be conservatorship? Did her dad do that for the money? Or did he really do it out of concern for his daughter? So that's the question I have. Have you guys been following that story?
I haven't been following it. I've seen a little bit about it, but as you know, I don't really follow the news. So what I've seen and what I know, I mean, I know that she has had some breakdowns. I know that she has been through some things. I do believe that she struggles with her mental health issues. I don't specifically know what those issues are, but obviously she's struggled with something. But I don't know if they should still be conservators over her money. From what I've seen recently, if she was able to really go to court and she's able to speak up for herself, her children are not in any danger. I don't see why they wouldn't release the reins a little. But once again, I think it's because of the money. I feel like a lot of those child stars that were in those situations have been, in these
exploited by their parents.
Yeah, and this has happened, and so it's not anything. I'm not trying to not be empathetic to the situation, but I don't think it's anything that's new because we see it a lot. Mm-hmm. I do feel like she does have rights. I feel like they need to give her life back, because I did see a portion saying that they had continued to drug her and different things. I do not believe in that. I do know that there are some individuals that need to take medication, but I don't believe that people should be forced. I think with the right care that you sometimes don't need medication. But once again, as I always say, the people that work with me know I say I'm a different type of therapist. I'm not the average therapist. I'm not a therapist like everybody else, and I don't care what any other therapist thinks. If you're in my care, I'm going to assess you the way that I see fit, and I'm going to treat you the way that I see fit. And because a lot of people they are very closed-minded and they don't really care about the individual, then a lot of things are just cookie cutter, and I don't like that.
So. And I know from my perspective with Britney Spears, I think that she's been exploited as a child. Sometimes parents can live through their kids. And from my understanding, that was a dream that they had for themselves. And so they kind of pushed her to be put into a situation to be rich. And so when you think about that, you think about her getting sick, a lot of adult issues are really childhood issues and experiences and traumas, right? So when you see this, she been pushed, not having a regular life as a child, it has to be difficult for anybody to be able to be her age as a child and just get what you want, do what you want to do, and have all this money, practically taking care of your family, right? So when I was thinking about this and I heard this story, I feel like they should just let her do what she needs to do for her kids. I don't think her kids were in that much danger at first. I think she was just having a breakdown from being around people around her. Because sometimes folks can stress you out. And it was taken advantage of. That's what I do think.
Right.
So give her the freedom, rights, support system. She can thrive.
I agree. And I think a lot of people are throwing a lot of things out of proportion. I seen a video of her, I think, doing flips or something because they gave her, or they allowed them to go into court, or they overturned the. See, and that's what I'm saying. I don't follow, so if I'm saying it incorrectly, you know, I apologize. But I felt like, okay, she's doing flips because she's happy, she's excited because something is now going her way finally. But I seen a lot of individuals saying, "Oh yeah, she really is crazy. She out there doing flips. That's proof that she's crazy." That's not proof that she's crazy. And then they were like, "Well, she's a 42-year-old woman or a 41-year-old woman out there doing flips." Okay, I'm 42 and I'll go do some flips if I'm happy enough. And what, I'm crazy? I mean, I'm just saying. So,
look, we clap our feet, clap our hands, we stomp our feet, clap our hands. So
right.
I feel like she's been judged too. I think a really pinnacle point in her career is when her hair, when she went and she shaved her hair. But a lot of people don't know this. We know this from being therapists, that when people go through change, a lot of people actually change their appearance. That does not make you necessarily crazy when you chopping off your hair and stuff like that. Right. A lot of women actually do it when they come out of a breakup.
Yeah.
So the first thing they do is they cut their hair. They change things about their appearance.
But not only that, I said, and what you're saying is very true. But, you know, I'm always with the jokes. But I was like, we don't even know because it's the news. So we don't know if they told us the whole story. Brittany could have had lice. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying like, but Brittany could have had lice, and they felt like that was worse to put out there that she got lice. So, and then they want to use it to their advantage. So they're like, oh, she didn't have a breakdown. We don't know. We do not seriously. We don't know. Brittany could have had some gum stuck in her hair. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. And had to cut a plug out and then cut the rest of it out because the gum was stuck right there. We don't know. So at the end of the day, we don't know these people.
We don't know these people. We just giving our perspectives and what we think.
And you know, I think that's the whole point of us having this discussion, because it's the time for you guys to see that you need to look at everything from every angle.
I was just about to say.
Don't just have your own opinion on something and then go in thinking that's accurate, because it's not. I think what did Alice say? It's not about the judgment. Sometimes it's what you think you can get away with and the rules don't apply to you. I feel sorry for her though. Okay, maybe that's still about Shakara.
That one, I think it came up late.
It probably came up late.
Then, Mary said amen, and Trina Scott said, right, we don't
know. Because we don't know, you know. So I don't know. That's just my opinion on her. Like I said, I haven't been keeping up with her. I know she's been in the spotlight for years. I know that she's been doing that since we were younger. So with that being said, I don't know. You never know.
Women do strange things that I do not try to understand. We sure do. We are creatures of different habits. Sometimes we might be on pattern, and next day we might not. We are emotional creatures. So yeah, leave us alone. And something else that's been going on too, that I've been watching a lot of these airplane incidents recently. Have you guys been watching that? Anybody been following the news? Anybody been following that? Swerving, 17-hour delays in flights, stuff like that. What's your take on that? Because I mean, the world is opening back up. People are starting to travel. What's your take on that?
What exactly is going on?
American Airlines has had a few incidents where planes almost about to fall out the sky, stuff like that. 17-hour delays. Just interesting things have been happening with American Airlines lately. Now, I ain't the one to say I don't know what's going on, but I just know they've been in the news quite a bit for pilots not doing due diligence.
Benicia Angel said we do go through different levels of own weirdness that some see crazy and others see that's just their personality. Yes.
Yes.
Because we're trying to figure out who we are. You know, life is about finding your purpose, and we don't usually know our purpose until we're older or we've gone through some things and we get at a certain place in our life where we've been made to figure out, okay, this is what I like, I don't like, and this is my aha moment. This is what I want to do. And so when we're struggling trying to find that purpose, yeah, there's a lot of different levels. There's a lot of weirdness. People are going to say you're weird when you start taking up for yourself. Others are going to say you're weird when you stop engaging with them, you know. So, and what others view as weird may not even be weird. They may just be using that word because I've noticed there's a culture now that weird is used when you're uncomfortable with someone. You just say, oh, you're weird.
But not even this. We are changing every day. Nobody's meant to stay the same. So cray weirdness, all of that, you never stay the same. You know, some people are always like, well, you change. Well, am I supposed to stay the same all my life? You're going to change. You wake up today, you'll be a different person than what you were yesterday. So I think different levels. Well, even men sometimes. So we ain't gonna just say that. Men sometimes they go through stuff too. And they go through different levels of when they a little bit cray and they having some personality stuff because they're trying to find who they are as males too. So it goes both ways. We're not meant to stay the same. We're gonna always change.
Mm-hmm.
So and weird is a culture, because I talked to somebody else about the term weird in a session before, and I said, y'all just put weird on everything. What does that mean? It's just, oh, she weird, or that look weird. Like, there's other words in the dictionary to describe something that you are not okay with outside of weird too.
All right.
No, but what I was saying, back to this, y'all traveling. I just need to know. I just want to know, because we all talk about different stages of life, but we talking about current events too. So I want to know, what's your take on that, Linnell?
Yes, we do all go through different levels of life, Leela.
Yes. Hi, Leela. How are you? Thanks for
What's my take on what?
All the stuff with these planes.
I don't know what's going on with them. So I don't know. I think that's been going on. If you're saying like, because I know that we're having engine problems or whatever, I don't really have any take on it. I don't think it's weird.
I don't think it's weird either. I just think it's just, you know, hi, cousin. Oh, that's cousin Francine. How are you? Francine, you know I don't know your real name like that, so sorry. No, I don't think it's weird. I'm not saying it's weird, but a lot of people have decided, you know, I'm not going to be traveling with American Airlines because of these incidents or whatever. And so I know for me, I was like, hey, it can happen on any plane. I'm still gonna get on I'm still going somewhere if I want to. That's not gonna stop me or change it, because when it's your time, it's just your time. But a lot of people say, I'm not dealing with American Airlines.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't seen it. I hadn't been following it or anything. I mean, I've been on American a couple times this year. I didn't have any issues, so I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like
yeah, as far as layovers and everything, I mean, I feel like there's always a lot of.
I love you too. Tell grandma I said hi.
I think that I don't know. I look for stuff that don't have a layover at all, and that's gonna get me there. That's a nonstop, and I haven't had any issues, so I don't know. I haven't been following that either, so I don't know exactly what's going on. Like, I don't know. So I don't really want to really speak on that, because I don't really know what's going on with it. If there's a reason all that is happening with them or something, I don't know.
I just know I'm still going to travel. I'm getting on. So there it is. That's it.
I think for me, the last thing that I want to talk about, and then you could take it from there if you have more stuff. But the last thing that I want to talk about that has really I don't want to say, well, I guess it did bother me, was the video of the woman in pink that was harassed by the Karen lady. Karen, her name is not Karen, but
her Karen is not Karen.
Lady.
Talk about, because you can bring it up while I help him. You can finish talking to the people, y'all. I gotta take a break right now. Bye.
Okay. So the incident, I don't know if you guys are aware of what's going on, but there was a woman that was in Forever, I mean not Forever 20. Is it Forever 21? Yes, Forever 21. Not Forever 21. Y'all, I'm sorry. Pink is what? It's because I don't shop there. Victoria's Secret. That's what it
Pink
is.
is Victoria's Secret,
Yeah.
girl. Victoria's
Okay.
Secret.
I don't shop at Victoria's Secret. But anyway, so Pink is Victoria's Secrets. And there was a lady in there that was shopping. And if you see, and I'm gonna crack some jokes now because y'all, I'm all about the jokes. So if y'all go back and watch the video, because I think it's 4 or 5 little clips, and it's called Karen and Pink or something like that. So there's multiple clips. In the clip, the lady is like, I got my coupon. I just came in here to get me some panties. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So I'm seeing she like, I came to get me some panties. And this lady got too close to me, got my circle. And we all know everybody has a bubble. It's only right, especially dealing with COVID and coming out the pandemic, that you give people space. Of course, people might not get 6 feet or whatever still, but give me a little bit of space if you're not with me and in my party. If you don't know me, I shouldn't be able to feel your breath on my cheek.
Well, in a store, they have bubbles actually on the store in Pink. I just was in Pink the other day. They have like these little cute little pink things in a bubble that you stand in to make sure to ensure that you are 6 feet apart because of COVID. So for her to be all up in that lady's space, she was looking for issues.
Right. So what happened is, they talking about them fingers pointing at you. Yes.
Yes.
And that's what happened in this situation. No. So what happened is the lady kind of told her, you're in my space. And so, and asked her if she could move. And once again, this is all perception because we only know what we have seen. I don't know this lady personally. She not my homegirl. I wasn't there in the store with her. So I don't know. I'm going off of what I seen on the videos and what I seen from all the comments and her responses and the police report that she also posted. So she told the lady to ask her if she could move, because she was uncomfortable. And the lady proceeded to utilize white fragility. And if you don't know what that is if an individual feels or knows that they are at fault and they are Caucasian.
They are Caucasian.
They will play that card. They will start to cry. They will start to blame you and say you started the incident. They will try to call the police first. And that's what happened. This lady proceeded to tell the people in Victoria's Secret that she was being threatened. She then proceeded to scream and start to cry and point her finger at the lady, telling the lady to get away from her. So the lady started to record, as she should have, because when you are a person of color and you're in these situations, they will not end well for you if you do not have proof. And this situation showed that, because as she started to record, Karen then noticed that she was being recorded and knew, because we know at this point in time, if you get on the internet, it's a wrap. If anybody see your stuff on the internet, it's a wrap. So Karen started crying and screaming. Y'all, if y'all go back on, I wish I could share these, but I'm not even going to share them on here, but I want y'all to go look, because this lady started shaking, crying, and then why she lay on the ground? She just laid on the ground like she passed out. She said
she did try to hit her. She
ran up to her and tried to hit her.
She actually chased her around the store and thought about it, because that
the young lady recording,
and she was still recording.
She was still recording,
and she was bobbing and weaving. But the point that we try to make here is that we still live in a society where there is racism and white privilege. Meaning, based on the color of our skin, we can be caught in situations that are not necessarily we did not start, but we have to finish. So I do agree with the way she was video recording, but my take on Alice said she saw it and it was unbelievable. My take on it was that when the security guard came, she was still asked to leave the store. So the woman recording is still asked to leave the store, while Karen just has created a whole scene. That's a problem
Right.
still.
Yeah, so that's my point was not about, well, but that was a good point that you made about racism, Marasha, but that wasn't my point. My point was, and why I wanted to make sure that I highlighted everything that happened in the video and, you know, how she was treated. And like Marasha said, when security came, they asked her to leave. When security came, even though they took Karen out of the store, they still treated the victim as if she was the problem. There were still individuals in the store that said, why are you recording? You're escalating this. Why don't you leave and get away from her? You're the reason she's acting
like this.
And I did not like that. And that is the point that I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is that there needs to be more unity among women of color. There needs to be more accountability. There needs to be more empathy, and there needs to be more support when it comes to situations like this, because right is right and wrong is wrong. We don't know what issues or what anxiety or what frustration, or if this lady struggled with PTSD when she left this facility, because we see this all the time. You know, we talk about, because I know there are a lot of people who don't outright experience it because they're not in situations or places where they will experience it, but a lot of us do. And so for those of us who do experience racism on a day-to-day basis or have experienced it, whether it be within the community, within your employment, within school, because it can be even within your family, it is time for us to start to stand up for individuals that we see going through these things, because we can't do it alone. And if someone would have just supported her a little bit, I mean, yeah, maybe we would have seen a different outcome. Maybe we would not have, but it probably would have left her feeling supported. Because once again, we don't know how she felt leaving out of there, because she was by herself. And I see multiple people in the store that could have assisted and could have said something, but they came to the rescue of Karen and not the individual that was being chased and attacked.
But a lot of people in the store, it was a few, but a lot of them did not look like her who was taping.
There were some.
There were some.
I'm saying it doesn't matter if there was a lot. Right. All it takes is one, and that's the point I'm trying to make. And that I feel is an excuse.
And I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here. When we talk about oppression, though, and we are caught in those situations, some people don't want to get involved because they are truly afraid of the backlash.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. But that's what I'm talking about. And that's the empowerment I'm trying to give right now.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm speaking
I get
to.
what you're saying,
because a lot of people are still
like, I don't know what to do in this situation. Now, had it been me, you,
but hold on, wait, let me finish, because I'm not even just talking about them. I'm talking about the comments that I've seen.
Yeah.
I'm talking, whether it be from the people that were just on that post or people that I personally know. So that's what I'm saying. If I would have been able to finish my comment, because I know that there are people that are oppressed. I know that there are people that are afraid to speak up. But once again, I'm talking to the people who are supposedly placing themselves right now to be in these positions. I'm talking to the people because we have social media, and I do know that it's only a social media platform and a lot of people just talk. I'm encouraging people to not just talk. That's what I'm saying. Because there are a lot of advocates in our community, regardless of if they're right in your community, if you know them personally, if they're a phone call away, because a lot of us don't have access to them like that. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of advocates in different communities. And so for what I've seen, and the majority of the comments that I've seen were, oh, you just wanted to embarrass her. Oh, why you just didn't get out of here? Oh, why you at the police department now? Oh, why you talking? Oh, why you running? Why you making a joke out of this? Why? But she's making a joke out of this because that's what she has to do. Because as Black women, we have to stay strong and we have to hold a certain face, because if she would have loped up, obviously it was shown she would have been taken to jail.
She would have went to jail.
Yeah. And I agree with you on what you were saying, though. A lot of people are oppressed.
A lot of people are so oppressed, though, they're not going to fight back. And if it had, and with my point that I was making, if it had been a few people on this timeline who on here commented, like Layla Jackson, right? Or cousin Francine. We would have had some support. Some people are so afraid. Even when you walk into workspaces, you will see that they so oppressed. Definitely. They don't even know how to speak up for themselves. Yes. So being caught in that situation, it could have been a freeze moment for some people like, oh my God, am I really watching this? So I'm going to give kudos to her filming because that would have been the last thing on my mind. I'm going to be honest with you. Especially would have tried to hit me. I probably would have thought, fight or fight. And I'm just being honest with you. And in that situation, being where she was from, she chasing me in the store. I would just stop running. And that's my point. She said she would have stopped running. How many people would have actually, would have just stopped running and been like, okay, I'm about to defend myself because she thinks she can chase me.
Right. And I know what you're saying.
And it comes a long way for us as women like me and you can empower people and be like, y'all need to support her better. We know that because we know better. But some people still, they so oppressed. It's just like, I freeze, especially when I see somebody in a suit, whether it's a security guard or not.
Okay, and you're right. And when I talk about this, I'm not just talking about us. Because I have Caucasian friends, because there were, once again, like you said, it was a lot of people in the store that didn't look like her. And I've been in situations in Bakersfield where Caucasian people have come to my defense. So that's why I'm saying I'm talking to everybody. I'm not just talking when I'm speaking to this. I'm talking about just being a human, and I'm talking about humanity at this point. The situation that went on, it just wasn't right. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying anybody could have come to her rescue. But what happened is we seen that everyone came to Karen's rescue because she was so anxious. Because she cried and because she shook and because she was loud, they came to her defense because she cried wolf. Mm-hmm. And it's a prime example, once again, of white fragility and how an individual can get in trouble if they don't think before they act.
That's true.
Because if you don't think before you act and you just think, oh, I know I didn't do nothing wrong, like you said, and you don't think to take your camera out, because for me, once again, I've been in so many situations. I think to document and I think to record. That's just how my mind works already. So there's never going to be a time where I'm put in a situation where it's not going to be on camera or I'm not going to document time, date, and everything. But once again, that's me. And that's because of my personal experiences and because of my traumas.
Absolutely.
And that's why I have the voice that I have now. But I have been on the other end. So yes, that's why I said I agree with you about individuals being oppressed. I agree with you about, not being at a place where you're able to speak on these things yet. But when there's a store and everyone's in there, or even if there's a post, because I've spoke about those things as well, and you have the platform to, just analyze a situation. And I know we're all different. Mm-hmm. I'm just encouraging us to be more supportive. I'm encouraging us to be more non-judgmental because that could have been you.
That's true.
And one day it might be you because it's not going to stop. And as we see, it's only getting worse. So just be mindful of your surroundings and handle every situation with care. Because we see that there are still individuals out there that are going to play that card and try to take advantage of whatever the situation is. And there are going to be people that are going to encourage them to do so.
And when you talk about those circle of people who encouraged it, let's talk about being able to recognize your white privilege. Because some people still, even at that place where they can recognize, like, I have a privilege because I look different than you. And if you I always tell people, there's no offense to anybody what I'm about to say. But if you have a person you're not of African-American descent, whatever, my thing is challenge you to sit and talk to your friend about what's going on and not be afraid and say, okay, and recognize I have a white privilege because you can use your white privilege to help us navigate through different systems. And so when you look at that in that clip in Pink, that's what we see. A lot of people that's been ingrained that she is right because she's Caucasian, and it's not
right because she's white. That's the same.
And
she's right because she's white.
And that's not absolutely true. And so I think that's been ingrained to teach that it's been taught so long, it's hard to undo. And so, yeah, we're here empowering people to unite and do all of that. But we got to teach too, teach, talk to your friends about it. I have those conversations still in open places and then dialogue. And that's how you know who your friend is, if they can understand where you're coming from. Sorry, guys, but as you can see, this guy is busy right now. He got a mind of his own. He want to talk. Sorry.
And when we say we're empowering you, once again, you're not just going to get it from us. Just because we talked about this for 15 minutes, we're not telling you to go out there and be like, woo!
Black power. No, we can't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
What we're saying is just educate yourself, figure out what works for you. Because one thing that I definitely always tell people, everybody's not meant to be in the front. So everybody wasn't meant to march. Everybody's not meant to be very vocal about certain situations. That's why we have people that do the writing. That's why we have people behind the scenes that organize the events. There's somebody that can do something for anything that you're trying to do. All we're telling you to do is support. When you see individuals in these situations, whoever you got to speak up to, even if you don't say nothing the whole time and you quiet because you are oppressed, and then they leave, listen in, and then you tell them people in there that was messed up. Okay, you still doing something. Plant that seed, boo. Plant that seed. Even though you was quiet and you did it after the fact, plant that seed.
Or you can record it. You can be the recorder.
Tell the cashier, thank y'all for calling security, because I do want to give props to Victoria's Secret Pink web, because they did make sure that they kept contacting security until they came and they stood between the ladies, or tried to, because the lady kept trying to attack her. So kudos to them as well. But all we're saying is, of course, I'm not saying jump in there. I'm not saying you should have let Karen hit you. I'm not saying hit Karen or tackle her. But what I am saying is, whatever you feel your talent is, whether it be talking and trying to de-escalate the situation, whether it's just letting people know that standing in the background, they talking negative and you like, no, that's not what happened. I seen the whole thing. Being honest and being transparent about what happened, because sometimes it's just that, because people would twist the story. Whatever angle you want to come from, then come from that angle. But all we're saying is, one day, eventually, step up and step out, because this world ain't gonna get no easier, and you might need to be that individual that needs somebody to speak up for you at one point in time. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. I'm not talking about people who don't want to do it, because once again, like Marasha said, some people are not ready to do that. And we understand that. But all I'm saying, for me, I am at that place. So I am very passionate about it. I'm always going to be very vocal. I'm always going to step up for my people and anybody else, not just because everybody is my people. I feel like I'm a person. So people is my people. So I'm going to step up. And I hope that you guys...
You on the side of right, because you are human and you have a natural love for all humans, no matter who they are. So that's why you for the people, for everybody. That's why we for everybody when we do this show. Because we're human and we realize everybody's human. You should be treated right, equal rights.
Right. So I know that brought us to the end. Like, we got 2 more minutes. So we want to give our shout outs to everybody who back every single week, and for sharing it, liking it, engaging, because we have new people coming every week. So obviously y'all liking, following, and sharing, so we appreciate that. Make sure you like us on YouTube as well as Facebook. We're on Instagram as well, but we don't do a lot of engagement on Instagram, so we apologize for that. But we do have an Instagram page as well. But on our YouTube and our Facebook, you definitely can see us, and hopefully you support us. We only got a few more minutes. Marasha, you have any shout outs or anything you want to do?
I just want to thank everybody for coming back and getting in the comments and always being so active and actively engaging and participating. We really appreciate you guys. We always want to hear about what other things you want to talk about. We have topics, but we always are waiting for you guys to say, hey, talk about this so we can be in this conversation. So let us know what you want to talk about. Thank you again for following, and sharing. And thanks to everybody who's actually been a huge part of us building this page up and following, and sharing. We appreciate you guys. We want to see We want to see y'all next week too. So be here.
Yes, next week. We'll see you guys later. Bye. Bye.